Now, joining us on the program is the chairman of the Lagos Institute of Safety Professionals, Timothy Iwagu. He's also talking on the Otedola Bridge incident yesterday. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Well, in the aftermath of that bridge accident, we've had different stories of how victims refused, or some victims refused to evacuate because they were not sure they were quite in danger. Now, what's the first thing to do in an accident situation where you have a fuel tanker spilling its contents? What do you do?
The first thing to do in such a situation is to actually find out the flow of the volatile flammable material, the direction of flow. If it is not to your advantage, of course, you are not to run in the direction of flow. You should run opposite the direction of flow.
Okay, but how do you know the direction? First of all, how do you find out there was traffic congestion on the bridge? Yeah. Because that was rush hour. How do you even get to find out the direction of flow when the tanker is way ahead of you? What do you do?
Yes, in this particular case, because we are going to center our opinions on this particular case, a truck descended from a hill, and then from that it was to climb another area that is
out of its lane.
Yes. Now that truck was loaded. First of all, we found out that the engine was not effective enough to carry it up. That's why the tanker stalled, that is, and then started drifting, rolling back. And the driver, had to act to the best of
the moment.
Yes, so he steered sharply, and that moved the rear of the truck to a direction that led to it falling and then spilling all its content. And the content was going to flow following the gradient. And now it was flowing following the gradient, so everybody behind that truck must keep away because there's a little of taper. That is, the road itself is not very flat. It tapered, sloped, and tapered to a section. So people should go to a higher level because the liquid was going to flow to the lower side.
Downward.
Yes.
Okay, but how practicable is it in such an emergency situation when people are strapped into their cars, their seatbelts, children come, maybe a parent who has a child in the car, and, sometimes the reflexes don't work that fast. How easy is it at that time of the day, 5:30 p.m., Lagos traffic? We all live in Lagos, we know how it is. How practicable is it for you to rescue yourself?
How practicable is it? It depends on the reflexes. The people, because awareness is what triggers consciousness. And it is the requisite consciousness that was lacking because there was no awareness. Nobody informed them. And then they did not see fire immediately. But even those who saw fire at the time they got there did not know the source.
Or did not expect it to become an inferno.
Because it was an issue where, the usual situation on the road, that very road. Everybody is on speed, trying to get home. And it's an open road. So at that point, the first vehicle got involved. Other ones had to queue behind it while the fuel was flowing. And remember, the engines were on. We had enough heat to ignite the flowing volatile organic matter. So we had that problem. Now, but the truth is that the engine of the truck was not effective enough to move the truck uphill. The truck rolled down. The driver would have used the brake to stop the truck wherever the engine stopped. But the brake was not effective enough to hold that truck. We're looking at overall maintenance of vehicles on the road. We have a lot of problems in our hands.
Okay, so that also even brings another issue of how worthy some of the vehicles that ply the roads are. And then should these vehicles be plying the road at a particular time?
Now, there should be a regulation. They should be timed. Lagos is a metropolitan city.
Because even today, that same road, the moment the road was opened up, the tankers were back on the road, blocking the road.
Blocking the road. Now, this control is necessary. They should be timed. They should be told when they should ply. They should not be interfacing with commuters and private vehicle owners heading to work and coming back from work. They should be told. But we find trucks inside streets. We find trucks on expressway. We find trucks racing as though they are competing for an award. So we have this problem. And a lot of them, like that, unreported. If you go towards Agbara, vehicles are falling every day, trucks loaded with such materials. Now, if the driver had the extinguisher on board,
he would have been able to avert that situation.
Now, most of them carry the dry chemical powder type of extinguisher instead of the foam type.
Okay.
Now, if every truck should be compelled to have at least 2 of such extinguisher, not less than 9 liters in volume. So when this type of incident occurred and there was fuel flowing, the driver would have, and his conductor, come out, discharge that. That would blanket the surface of the liquid. Because the open surface, with the heat available and enough oxygen from the air, we had that.
Flammable.
Yes.
Okay, one resonating constant is the case of onlookers when things like this happen.
Yeah.
You know, regardless of the burning flames, the fire burning, you know, and almost threatening to even engulf them, and inhaling in flame inhalation, fume inhalation, and all whatnot.
Yeah.
Regardless of their safety, what do you have to say about this?
It's all about the issue of awareness. So many Nigerians are not knowledgeable about some of the hazards associated with incidents of this
So how
nature.
can this awareness be raised? Of course, you're doing so already, but how more so?
Yeah, we are doing a lot of that, but we need more collaboration. Now, the Institute of Safety Professionals of Nigeria has gone a long way trying to sensitize people at different levels, in schools and corporate environment. But we find out that the roads are where we have
most of these
people, yes. And now when these things happen, people want to become the first to post it online. But there's no award for that.
Okay, so safety first.
Safety first.
Before you become a social media star.
Exactly. Before you become a social media star. A lot of people want to be heroes. So we don't need undue heroism at the points like this.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Timothy Iwago, Chairman, Lagos Institute of Safety Professionals, for joining us on the program. Remember, safety first before being a hero.